I call to order this regular meeting of the Board of Public Works this Monday, May 6th of 2024. First up, we have messages from the board. Do we have any messages from the board this evening? Next, we have petitions and remonstrances. If there is anyone present online or in person who would like to make a public comment about something not on the agenda, now is the opportunity to do so. If you are on Zoom, you can use the raised hand function or the chat function to let us know you're interested in making a comment.
At this moment, I do not have anybody on Zoom.
Okay. All right, seeing none. Next up, we have the consent agenda. Under the consent agenda, we have sidewalk closure and metered parking reservation request from Omega Properties at 626 North College Avenue, and we have approval of payroll. Do we have any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda this evening? All right. Do we have any public comments on anything within the consent agenda this evening?
I have nothing on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda from today's meeting, May 6, 2024.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I will call the roll. Carone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard? Aye. Motion passes. Next up is new business. First under new business is change orders number 1 and number 2 for the First Street reconstruction project.
Okay, this is April Rosenberger on behalf of Zach Rogers. This is change orders number 1 and number 2 for a project that was awarded on December 13th, 2023 to Milestone Contractors. Change order number 1 is just a time extension. The time extension is due to the eclipse as NDOT stated they needed an additional day. Change order number 2 is for additional MOT, which totaled $5,362.41. The additional MOT is for a lane closure on College Avenue at First Street that was left off the plan set.
Thank you. Questions on this item? Okay. Any public comment on this item?
I have no participants on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve change orders number 1 and number 2 for the First Street reconstruction project.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Carone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard? Aye. Motion passes. Next, we have requests to reissue closure permits from AEG for South Maxwell Street and North Williams Street.
Hi, it's Alex Gray from engineering. So this one is, as the project has gone on, there has been permits that have that were awarded by the board in like 2022, 2023, early time, and the time period has lapsed to where they have now expired. These are to, and the reason why they had been moved to an expired is that the work, they had worked and started in certain areas and had planned for them to on their schedule, but the schedule has changed. So they moved to different areas instead of the ones that they had permits from before. So now they are wanting to reissue them and with their new schedule. And so these two here, the South Maxwell Street and East Hillside Drive area, that one they plan on being done or working through the next couple weeks. And the same is for North William Street or West 5th Street area.
Thank you.
Question?
Yep.
For the benefit of people that may be watching on recording, can you specify what the project is?
Oh, yes. Yes, it's the citywide fiber project that AEG has been working on, which is the fiber installation for internet access. And so what they do is they go through and they will typically bore, what's called bore in underground with a machine, put conduit, which will house the fiber that is just a wire, essentially, that they will then have connections that people can request to be connected into the network with.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions on this item? All right, any public comment on this item?
I have nothing on Zoom.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the request to reissue closure permits from AEG for South Maxwell Street and North Williams Street.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is lane and sidewalk closure request from AEG on East Moody Drive.
With their change of schedule, the two that were just previous, this one is a new permit that has not been seen by the board, but it is going to go along with the same or similar timeline as the two that were in the previous item. This one is for West Grimes Lane along South Walnut Street, East Miller Drive, and then kind of that neighborhood area. It actually ties in with the, I believe it was the Maxwell Street side. So this is just a new permit area for the AEG fiber work.
Questions on this item? So we just had our work session, like
Yes.
moments earlier. And just for the sake of recapping for anybody who may be interested, I did ask if we had anything outstanding with AEG that still needed to be taken care of as far as requirements from the city of any kind, and you had confirmed that everything is up to date at this point with
Yes, that's correct. They are actively working with us, and if something comes up, for example, even today, I had some phone calls of potential sanitary problems, and I communicated to the contractor, and they were actively out there making sure that they were getting fixed.
Great. All right. Any other questions on this item? Any public comment on this item?
I have nothing on Zoom.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the lane and sidewalk closure request from AEG on East Moody Drive.
Second?
All right, I'll call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is sidewalk and lane closure and metered parking reservation request from Strausser Construction for 430 East Kirkwood.
So it's Alex Gray from Engineering again on behalf of Kyle Baugh. He is traveling currently, so he's not able to attend. But this one is for the upstairs pub kind of remodel work that is happening, and they are requesting a lane and sidewalk closure in front of the pub. Bless you. In front of the pub for crane use, and the crane is a smaller crane. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I am assuming it's more of like a truck model, and then they can move it in and out of the area that they're going to need to load equipment on top of the pub. And then this closure or closures, quote unquote, will be more in the early morning area like time, so that way it won't hopefully interfere with the other closure that is going to be nearby. Coordination has been worked on between the two, that way there hopefully isn't any mishaps or trouble with the traffic in the area. And they will have flaggers on site too that are on standby if there needs to be, and that sort of thing. And this one they plan on doing the time zone that they have, knowing that it's more of an intermittent closure, so it may not be every day, will be May 7th to August 10th.
Thank you.
And it's on East Kirkwood. I realized I did not specify.
Thanks. Any questions from the board on this item? Any public comments on this item?
I have no comment on Zoom.
All right, seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the sidewalk and lane closure and metered parking reservation request from Strausser Construction for 430 East Kirkwood.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox-Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is lane and sidewalk closure request from Coco Singh Industrial on East Morningside Drive.
Hi, it's Alex Gray again on behalf of Kyle Baugh. So I got some confirmation after the work session, but to kind of go over the request anyways, this one is they want to close the lane and sidewalk on East Morningside Drive from May 7th to May 17th. This is in kind of working with the City of Bloomington Utilities. It is for a force main installation, so that's kind of what the pipe installation is for. To kind of more clarification, I kind of asked what that was. And at this time, they have not communicated with transit, so we're asking if we could push this. And we did discuss if their timeline, if it'll, kind of make kind of some issues with their timeline, and they said that it's okay if we have to delay it. Just because we want to make sure that they coordinate with Smith Road, their closure going to be switching soon, so they agreed. They just hadn't realized, they were like, oh, we didn't realize that both projects were going to be lining up as closely as it was, and that would cause some more disruptions to the bus route, so they're willing to table it for now, and that's what we would like to do as well.
Thank you so much for getting more information. Before we do that, just checking to see if there's any public comment on this item since we brought it forward.
No.
Okay.
Comment on Zoom.
If there is a motion on tabling.
I move that we table the lane and sidewalk closure request from Coco Singh Industrial on East Morningside Drive.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next up is agreement with Wind Cave for payment processing at city garages.
Hello. I'm Jess Goodman with Parking Garages, parking manager. This is for a new credit card processor for all the equipment at the parking garages. The current processor that we have now will no longer be PCI compliant. And this new processor, Wind Cave, is compliant and also compliant with our new system called MyPark. This is a monthly fee of $720, and anything after 12,000 tickets a month is 5 cents overage per ticket.
Thank you. Questions on this item? Any public comment on this item?
I have no participants on Zoom.
Seeing none. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the agreement with Wind Cave for payment processing at city garages.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jess.
Next up is 2024 service agreement with H&K Maintenance LLC.
April Rosenberger on behalf of JD Bora, Facilities Director. This service agreement is with H&K Maintenance for mowing, vegetation removal, turf maintenance, and snow removal services at city facilities, and with a do not exceed amount of $15,000.
Thank you. Questions on this item? All right, any public comment on this item?
No comment on Zoom.
Seeing none, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the 2024 service agreement with H&K Maintenance LLC.
Second?
All right, I will call the roll. Crone?
Aye.
Roach?
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes. Next up is staff reports and other business.
No staff reports.
Thank you. Next is approval of claims. Are there any questions on the claims?
No.
Okay. Any public comment on claims?
Nothing on Zoom.
All right. Is there a motion on the claims?
I move that we approve claims tonight in the amount of $1,643,685.09.
Second.
All right, I will call the roll. Crone,
Aye.
Roach,
Aye.
Cox Deckard, aye. Motion passes. And if there is nothing else, then I will call for adjournment.
Thank you.